Welcome, everyone. I call this meeting of the Grantsville City Planning Commission to order on Tuesday, May 19th, 2026. It is 7 p.m. at Grantsville City Hall. They're at 429 East Main Street in Grantsville, Utah. We'll do a roll call. I'll start with Cameron.
Cameron Moulton here.
John Montgomery here. Jason Hill here.
Gary Merrill present.
Sarah Moore, I'm here. I'd like to invite you all to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance with us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay. So about 2 months ago, we changed the format of the meeting and we found it to work quite well. So for tonight's public hearing items, we will follow this format. I will have a staff presentation on the agenda items as they appear on the agenda. Then the public hearing and the public comment opportunities will be after the staff description of the agenda item. And then we'll bring that back for commission discussion and consideration. So during the public comment portion, we'd like to limit each speaker to 3 minutes. And if you would please state your name and if you'd like your address for the record when you approach the podium, so we can record that in the minutes. And if you didn't sign in when you came in, please make sure that you sign in on the sign-in sheet as well. It's a requirement that we keep that information. And the commission cannot answer questions or engage in dialogue during the public comment portions. We hope that your questions will be sufficiently answered during the discussion, the presentation periods. So we will move to agenda item 1, the presentation, and then a public hearing, and then the discussion and consideration of a proposed conditional use permit for Andrew Christiansen, to own and operate Tinman's Gunworks, a home-based business that includes services such as firearm repairs, maintenance, restoration, purchases, and transfers that are located at 332 West Apple Street in the RM7 zone. Hi, Shelby.
Hi, sorry, I got something bothering my throat. I'm not sure what it is. Sorry.
Timing is everything.
So this is located at 332 West Apple Street in the RM7 zoning. Recently, we just did a master code update to where a home occupational was permitted as long as it met the criteria. What kicked this off is that this lot does not have the 100-foot frontage that was required. I believe it's a 70-foot frontage. 80, thank you, 80-foot. Frontage, and so under the definition of a home occupation, that is where they can come and ask for a deviation to the planning commission. This was similar to one that we had recently approved. The home occupation ordinance further provides the deviation from the frontage requirement may be granted by planning commission upon findings that adequate access and neighborhood compatibility are maintained. As part of the conditional use permit review process, the planning commission must evaluate whether the proposed use can operate in a manner compatible with the surrounding properties and whether the reasonable conditions can mitigate reasonably anticipated detrimental impacts. Based on staff's findings, we didn't see an issue with this use. We've listed all the suggested conditions, which are typical hours of operation, outdoor storage, firearms, similar to the ones that you've seen on the previous application. The business details, it'll just be Andrew. It's Monday through Sunday, 8 to 6 p.m. with expected 10 customers per week, which is under the allowed 2 customers per hour in the home occupation. You can see here is parking here, storage in the red, and then street parking as well. And then just the GIS for you guys to be able to. So here's the house, here's West Street, and here's Cooley Street. Okay, that's great. Any questions?
What we approved, the other gun operations and everything else. That's what it was called. Was it a frontage exception too?
No, so that one had come in before we had the criteria of the frontage and things like that.
How much discussion was there about the frontage, 80 feet versus?
There was no discussion.
No, I mean, just when the ordinance was created. 100 feet versus 80 versus, I mean, was it a big deal or is this?
I know, I believe initially staff proposed 150 feet, but there was concerns that would,
Four homes would have 150.
yeah, and so we had reduced it down to 100 feet.
Do we think half the homes have 100 feet or do we think it's still very few homes that have 100 feet?
You're probably at a tipping point where the homes, you'll start seeing less 100-foot frontages and you're gonna start seeing more of 70-foot or less.
I'm just thinking existing.
So are you going
Just wondering,
down the road of adjusting it so it's not so restrictive?
well, maybe not that, but just when these exceptions come in, how big a deal is really 80 versus 100, I guess.
Yep.
Let's try and get a feel for that.
How much without the access to the driveway?
Without the
Maybe we
driveway?
started the conversation with the concern of all the cars parking off road in front of the house. Maybe we just have further discussions after this conversation about an appropriate number of cars that could fit.
Approximately
So you're
46 feet.
talking 4 cars comfortably?
Maybe my thought is
No?
you go to Sugar House and there, in the middle of the day is the whole road, the whole streets are full of cars because no one has a garage or whatever. I mean, my thought is it doesn't seem that big of a deal for something like this where people park street parking, you know? So I don't know. It seems like a little bit arbitrary, but the 80 versus 100 doesn't seem to be, in my mind,
Yeah.
big deal.
Cameron? Oh, were you done, John?
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I don't think I have any questions.
Jason?
Not a question, just a comment. I think the intent of this was so that if we have less than 100 feet, it brings it back to us to kind of discuss, is there an impact there? I think with the amount of frontage they have here, they're indicating less than 10 customers per week. And with that much parking, I don't see that being a hindrance to the community. So I have no concerns.
Yeah, my only concern was just the frontage too, but then I started looking at the map and see that the neighbor just to the west of him. Looks like his house is more towards the other end of the street, so I don't think if cars are even parking to the west a little bit. I think this is just an easy variance to give that extra 20 feet. I agree with John. Like, I wonder how many houses even in the RM7 zone right now have 100-foot frontage.
It's true. I don't even know if I have 100-foot. Maybe I do. Okay. Any other questions for Shelby? Okay, I just will open this up for the public hearing portion of this. If anybody has comments that they'd like to make, feel free to approach the podium. Okay, I don't see anybody, Rhett. Did you have a comment or a question? Okay. Is there anybody online, Nicole, if they're online and would like to make a comment regarding the proposed conditional use permit for Andrew Christiansen to own and operate Tinman's Gunworks at 332 West Apple Street? Please have them, or please raise your hand if you're online and would like to make a comment. Nobody? Okay. Not seeing any interest or opportunity, anybody taking opportunity to make public comment during the public hearing period, then we'll close the public hearing on this item. We'll bring this back for consideration to the commission. So Gary, did you have any concerns with the suggested conditions of approval or anything that you'd like to add?
The only thing that did stick out in my mind just as a firearms storage. I mean, that's, I don't think, maybe outside of our purview, so. Storage of the firearms when they're at the business, of how are they stored and secured and maintained.
Okay, is the applicant here? Would you like to approach the podium, please, and state your name?
My name is Andrew Christiansen. So should I just answer the question? or-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please.
So I have a gun safe
Okay.
in the space that I'll be using that's marked in red. I had to have that approved by the ATF as well. As an approved means of storage. It's also in a locked door. It has a heavy door around it. And then I have IDS through Simply Safe as well with a motion sensor, camera, and glass break sensor for the 2 windows. And then sensors for opening windows as well. All there to help protect firearms.
Any gunsmithing going to be going on or just repairs and maintenance restoration?
So that would fall under the definition of gunsmithing.
That's a
So yeah, it
general
would be there.
definition then? Okay,
When it, just so you guys are aware, there's no ammunition in the space and there will be no ammunition in the space. If I have to test fire a firearm, that will happen outside of city limits and public property. So none of that will be associated in there.
That answer your question sufficiently,
Mhm.
Gary? Is there any detail that you want to include in the conditions? Based off of those
I
answers,
don't
or
think
are
so.
those
Just looking at
okay?
the suggested conditions of approval, I thought that was my only, just wanted to double check on the storage and.
Okay, super. Are you good then? We'll move on to.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm done.
Jason?
I have no concerns and I think his plan, what he's gonna do is works for him. And I don't think it's gonna be an impact to the community as far as the neighbors. So I have no concerns and no additional comments on the conditions.
Thank you. John?
You voluntarily brought up the ammunition storage for sale, and we mentioned that with the last approval. So you're perceiving it as a concern, I think others do. So I just add that there would be no ammunition storage inventory for sale.
Yeah, absolutely not.
As a condition?
I don't have the proper FFL to sell ammunition anyways. So I only have the FFL to work on or buy and transfer firearms. That's the only thing I have.
Okay, great. That's all I would add. Question, comment I have.
Thank you.
No, I think my only comment would be that I think it's ridiculous that you have to disclose where you're storing these firearms in a public document.
I thought the same
So
thing.
that's my only comment.
We tried to be as very ambiguous as possible.
So that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's 250 years. We should be past that.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Cameron. So we will entertain a motion if there's no further conversation.
I'll move to approve the consideration of proposed conditional use permit for Andrew Christiansen to own and operate Tinman's Gunworks, a home-based business that includes services such as farms, repairs, maintenance, restoration, purchase, transfers, located at 332 West Apple Street on RN7 zone with the conditions outlined in the staff report with the following modifications: that no ammunition storage for sale will be on the site.
Do I also need to add in there that we're going to grant a variance for the frontage as well?
Yeah,
Because the
and
RM7
we're
zone.
granting the variance of that needs to be.
I think that's what
The whole
the
thing.
Yeah, that's what this
application is
Yeah.
for.
Okay.
But thank you, Gary. That's good to remind us that both of those things will be noted. And then, so as a conditional use to the property, right? And that could be if there's any nuisances that or complaints that we get, that'll be reanalyzed. You may have to come back here. All right, thank you. Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Jason, thank you. John and Jason, thank you so much. We'll take a vote. All in favor? Aye. Okay, this is unanimously. Thank you so much. Okay, we will close item 1 and we will move on to item 2, which is a presentation and a public hearing and the discussion and consideration of a proposed conditional use permit for I'm sorry, I may mispronounce this. Felicia
It's
and
it's Felicia.
Alicia. Oh,
Yes.
hey, Utah spelling. I see. Thank
Yes,
you.
definitely.
And Joseph Mengrim to own and operate a farm stand for the sale of eggs, produce, and sourdough bread at 463 South High Pasture Way, located in the R121 zoning district. Hello, Shelby.
Hi. I feel like half my staff report's missing. I'm gonna pull this pull back up.
Okay. So Felicia will have Shelby present what the conditional use is covering, and then we'll come back to you, okay? I don't know why, I think the camera's over here somewhere, so I'm sorry if I'm looking at the screen. I try not to do that.
There we go, sorry.
Oh. Thank you.
So this is a proposed use to approve a small scale farm stand from their residential property according to the submitted application materials. It would include the sales of produce, eggs, sourdough, and bread. The stand would operate Saturday, 8 AM to 12 PM and anticipate 25 customers per day during operating hours. This is on High Pasture Way in the R121 zoning. The parking is 35 feet wide by 50 feet deep. Again, just baking bread, standard kitchen appliances, no chemicals except for cleaning chemicals. 8.1 for the home occupation, conditional use permits intend to preserve the residential character of the neighborhood. The ordinance also establishes a minimum frontage of the 100 feet. In the analyst, the proposed request is for a low intensity residential farm stand operating on a limited weekly schedule. Applicants operating 8 AM to 12 PM on Saturdays. Produce, eggs, and homemade bread. The proposed use usually is generally low in operational intensity. The 25 customers a day in the 4-hour operating window may create parking and traffic considerations within the surrounding residential neighborhood. Under Chapter 7, the Grantsville City Code, conditional uses are not presumed appropriate merely because they are listed within the ordinance. Each application must be evaluated individually. Okay. We do have the home producers direct sell with the state and the exemptions from the regulations. Here's the property. And then here is where the animals would be, and then the farm stand. So parking. Cute little farm stand up front. Looks like some good sourdough bread.
You
Yeah.
go back to where the farm stand was going to be in relative to the road and the house.
Yeah, so it'll be right in front of the driveway. So if we pull up this, see this black?
Okay.
So again, just this triangle right here. Any questions?
Cameron, do you have questions?
No, I don't.
John?
So this zoning, we have a special zoning for this kind of business, but it's not this zone, correct?
What do you mean?
Isn't this R
R121.
21? These are the RM. What zones allow this actually
Is this an overlay zone?
for the home business?
So this allows it, it's just a complaint came in and so we have to send it to planning commission.
So complaint.
Yeah, so it's not that it's not allowed, it's a permitted use. It's just when we receive public comment, I shouldn't say complaint, public comment. Then we have to send it to planning commission
That's
So it is allowed in the,
in the R121. Yep, it's permitted in all zones.
what exactly is permitted?
home
not a-
occupation, so, I can pull up the definition of a home occupation for you if you'd like.
How does it differ from the RS7?
It doesn't differ from the RM7.
Are you talking about the family food production?
No, I just, the gunsmith.
Because he only had 80 feet of frontage instead of the 100 feet of frontage. That's why, he had to come.
But didn't we just
Or-
uniquely kind of zone that area of town for home businesses? The RM7,
No,
yes, we just, wasn't it recently? Not this zone, but the other, where the gunsmith was just located. Didn't we just rezone that area not long ago?
mm-mm. So here's the definition for the home occupational use. And then B is where the frontage requirement was. But it's the same for every zone.
Every zone in the city.
Yep, they have to meet this criteria.
So the non-compliance is just the frontage, and we're not sure. No one measured it, but it's less than 100 feet.
Not this one.
This one's got one.
This one's fine. We just received a public comment. So it meets the code, but when we receive a public comment, it just has to come to planning commission.
So
I
they were-
think that, are you thinking of what we discussed with the other one that had two front yards and the
No.
code didn't allow the buildings in the front yard? Or,
The subject property appears to have frontage below the 100-foot minimum requirement.
Are you on, that's number one.
no, it says it in here too.
What,
Right here in the mangrove presentation under
It says it on the third page
second paragraph.
and the under applicable
Yeah, it
code
does.
considerations.
Based
on
on
this-
available mapping, okay.
Or the
Property
third,
appears to have frontage below the 100-foot minimum.
the
That's
third,
incorrect.
yeah, I possibly. Probably was my fault.
This one was like 100 and some odd, 110 feet.
Yeah.
When I measured it on the GIS.
so we disregard that.
Yeah, that was my apologies.
That's okay.
All right.
We will ask everybody participating online and in the recording to disregard.
Shelby's there.
Just the
Okay,
Just
that's,
the
that was.
first sentence of the
confusing me, okay.
third
No, you're fine. I was,
paragraph.
wasn't following,
under
so.
Applicable code considerations in the, yeah,
Okay, that's all.
good catch. Thank you for reading all that all the way through. I noticed that too, but. Jason?
Right now, we're only approving on this conditional use permit, this to have to occur based on what they've applied for that 4-hour window on a Saturday, correct?
Correct.
I think based on some of the previous discussions we've had for other people that have asked for this kind of thing, I think we just stipulate that they stick with those kind of conditions. They're not permanent power. This is a temporary facility. And if they're going to only request for those hours, I think the comment that we received addressed some concerns on traffic and wear and tear, and I think on the roads, and I don't think this is going to be something that will impact that. So I think in what they're asking for, I will support.
Thank you for stating those reasons. It's good. I have got to remember to make sure we have those reasons in the discussion and in the minutes. Yep. Thanks, Jason.
Theoretically, if we have a comment every month, we'd Groundhog Day, right? We'd be doing this every month, potentially, if we have a complaint.
Yes.
Yep.
During the summer, we see a lot of these. Right. Hey, Gary, you have any questions
I
for
think Jason
Shelby?
addressed what I was thinking as well, because I know one of the comment was, I mean, he was thinking of parking, but I'm like, if they could open up part of their side yard, seems like there's plenty of room, not only in the driveway, but on the side of the house to get additional drive cars in there if they needed it for parking, if cars became a nuisance that way.
For some reason, I didn't get the email. Could we just read the complaint? So
Is the,
I emailed it to
We
them.
allowed to do
They-
that?
yeah, we got it late right
I've
before
got
the
it.
meeting, but was it sent on the condition of permitted?
need to see the name
The
of-
comment came in, for the first notice we sent out,
Oh,
not the second notice.
okay.
And so since it went out with the first one, that's why it's here. And so it was about the traffic.
They didn't want it to, did they want it to be part of the public record or did they state specifically to
How does
not?
that work?
They're all part of the public record. We
Okay.
just,
So we don't need to say the name if we just read the content of.
Yeah.
is that fine, Tyson?
Yeah.
Thank you, Tyson.
Can I read it?
Yes, please.
Just
Cameron.
state names or addresses.
State my name?
No, don't state.
Oh, don't state, okay. I am opposed to commercial additions in that subdivision for the following reasons. The streets and traffic flow in that subdivision were not set up for commercial traffic. All traffic into and out of that subdivision must travel through other developments, adding unneeded traffic and wear and tear on other city streets. Access to and from Quirk Street in the planning of this subdivision would have eliminated many of these problems. Parking could become a problem. Thank you for your consideration.
I'm just trying
Thank you,
to
Cameron.
weigh the weight of the complaint, you know, how serious is it?
Is there a rule, is there a code or a rule being broken right now?
No.
Okay. I think that's,
Just
I
wanna
mean,
make
it-
that- I just want to make
yeah.
that clear.
it's tough, but it's,
My statement was, I think there's concern there, but there's nothing behind
Yeah.
a city ordinance that would require us to do anything different.
So we listen. Okay.
we listen, but we don't judge.
Okay, Gary, did you have any other questions for Shelby? Okay, fantastic. Thank you, Shelby. Okay, so we will open this item up for a public hearing period. And if anybody would like to make a public comment regarding this, please approach the podium and state your name. This is the public hearing for the consideration of a proposed conditional use permit for Felicia and Joseph Mangrum to own and operate a farm stand at 463 South High Pasture Way in the R121 zoning district. Okay, I don't see anybody approaching the podium. If there's anybody online, would you please raise your hand so you could be allowed to talk? Okay, nobody online. Okay, we'll close the public hearing and bring this back for discussion and consideration. Do you want to go, Cameron?
Yeah, I just have a question, probably for Shelby, just so I understand. So currently they're operating under permitted use. So what makes them come in and have to apply for a conditional use permit? And is there a fee that they had to do with this because a complaint came in or a comment?
It's a conditional because it's a farm stand.
Yeah, it's full, so it's a conditional because it's a farm stand, as well as when we receive a public comment, chapter 7 does require that that we have to bring it to planning commission.
If there's any variance.
No,
Oh,
just
you know,
any public comment.
Okay.
Sorry, I was trying to get holiday oil on my.
Oh, and so is there a fee? Because a comment came in, they had to pay a fee to have us come talk about it because someone complained about something they were doing that's completely allowed. Okay, that seems, okay, all right. That answers my question. I don't like it. Okay, how much is that fee?
$200.
$200? So every time someone would make a complaint about this, homeowner's potentially on the hook for $200.
Mhm.
Oh my heavens.
It's a lot of sourdough, right?
That is a lot of
Yeah.
sourdough.
Has that fee already been paid?
Yes, we did try adjusting the code at one point in time prior to the majority of you, but it was,
There
So
were
that-
members who thought that, yeah.
There's a problem there then, right? Because couldn't somebody then just bury someone in fees making arbitrary complaints?
well, no, because that fee is a one-time fee, and so, let's say you guys were to deny it, then they could come, they could appeal your decision to council, no fee is paid. Then if council denies it, I believe they can appeal it to district court.
With
Well, let's say
appeal.
this one just goes through, but then they file another complaint in 15 days. Is there another permit? Okay,
No fee,
so one time.
one time.
Okay, still not ideal, but okay.
Are those comments, is that only if it's a comment to the negative? So if someone could support, you still have to come to us if there was a comment that was received?
The city then pays them $200.
I mean, the code doesn't specify
pass go?
positive
Do
or
that.
negative, it just says any public comments.
Interesting.
Oh,
That's something maybe we can talk about after.
Yeah, okay. No, that's good. All right.
yes, we definitely want to have a conversation about that. Thank you, Cameron, for
Okay.
pointing that out.
That's all I have. Thanks.
Okay. Discussion item, Gary.
I don't have anything.
Okay, Jason.
This is just a thought I had after what Gary said about parking. I think that just for the applicant, this is a conditional use, and as long as if parking became a problem with the residents around there, that would be something that they would need to consider. And so maybe opening up parking on their property might help alleviate that if there was a concern there, but that'll be something that would trigger a revisit of this, but outside of what we're here, I'm supportive.
Okay. Felicia, are you still there? Felicia?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so. Hello, thank you for participating. I'm very pleased to know
Yes.
you. So I think the question was, would there be customer parking allowed in your driveway?
Definitely.
Okay. And is that,
Yeah, it's
Did-
more of a
would you-
comment just to make sure that they're aware that if there was complaints that would come back to the city or something,
For future impact.
yeah, future impact. As
And
long as they
this-
manage that, I'm good.
okay,
And I just say to conclude for the record that this complaint didn't rise to the level of, in my mind, that it's enough to take any kind of adverse action.
thank you. And honestly, I don't typically like to project my own feelings on these things. However, I don't feel like 25 people between the hours of 8 and noon is any more than a Saturday morning yard sale. And it's interesting that somebody would be concerned about having such traffic that is probably less than the Christmas lights that we see on Quirk during the holiday season that I love. I love those lights, but it has caused accident, and it has caused quite a few near misses and could potentially be a concern in the future. And nobody seems to complain enough to bring that here either. And that is a dangerous situation, especially when there's snow on the road. So having 8 to 12 operation. Oh, Felicia, I am curious, is this totally unmanned? Is this like an honor system type of oversight?
Sorry, my phone was cutting out a little bit there.
That's okay. I was
Sorry, my
wondering-
phone was cutting out a little bit. Is that a question for me?
Yes, Felicia, I was wondering if this is a totally manned stand and like kind of like.
Yes, it's an honor system. Yes, it will be an honor system.
Do you plan to have any type of security cameras in place?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, that's good to know. We're just concerned that you're putting an effort out to help the community, and then somebody might take advantage of that, but totally unmanned farm stand. And people only stop if they are interested on what they see when they drive by. Are you advertising this at all?
I'll likely have, like maybe a post on Facebook or like signs on the corner that would say farm stand this way, but like I said here, it would only be like Saturday mornings and nothing more than a typical yard sale would bring.
Right, or a children's lemonade stand, which we see all the time and I love, and I strive to stop at every one of them. So I do appreciate the entrepreneurship, and I don't have any concerns. So we do have some suggested conditions of approval as we are considering this conditional use permit. Are you aware of those suggested conditions of approval?
Were they just like, bringing people into the driveway if that was an issue for the parking?
The parking was a conversation we had here at this meeting this evening. The conditional use permit suggested conditions of approval include only operating as described in the application materials. The hours of operation limited to Saturdays between 8 a.m. and 12 p.m. The sale should be limited to produce, eggs, sourdough bread, and similar home-produced agricultural or food products. No permanent outdoor structures associated with the farm stand shall be permitted without additional city approval, and that there's, in my recollection, there's in the city code, we don't approve buildings with foundations and front yards. So no permanent building, no amplified sound, music, or outdoor advertising displays. Customer parking shall occur on site whenever possible and shall not obstruct neighboring driveways, sidewalks, or public streets. The operation shall comply with all applicable business licensing requirements and applicable provisions of the Utah Code relating to home producer direct sales. The operation shall not create excessive traffic, noise, odor, or other impacts detrimental to the surrounding residential neighborhood. And then any expansion or significant modification of the operation will require additional review and approval by the city. Are you aware of those, and do you agree to those?
Yes, I do have a question. Like, my plan from the beginning was to only operate 2 to 4 days a month. If I decide to forego like a Saturday and maybe do like a Wednesday evening that week instead, would that be okay?
Tyson?
Restate the question, sorry.
So right now, her conditional use permit only states Saturday that she's operating. If she decides to forego Saturday and operate on Wednesday, will that be allowed? Or does she need to list days of operation, other days of operation on the permits?
I think specific days of operation would satisfy the requirement of the conditional use. So it doesn't necessarily need to be a Saturday, but a specific hour of operation, day of the week, time, so that the neighbors have reasonable expectation would be a reasonable condition.
So could it be something ambiguous as to 3 days a week, 8 to 12, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m.?
Or no more than 3 days a week, or?
She's saying the evening though.
Felicia, are you wanting to do more than 1 day a week or just 1 day a week, but maybe?
No. Yeah. Like I plan to only operate 2 to 4 days a month. Sorry, my kids. And so yeah, if I decided to forego like a Saturday morning and do like a Wednesday evening, like 4 to 8 instead.
Could we propose something where we just said they have
4 consecutive hours.
four hours, yes, 4 consecutive hours.
A week.
No more than 1 day a week, no
Yeah.
more than 4 consecutive hours.
Hours.
But that's being very prescriptive, but I don't know if we even need to go that far, but.
That may be a little tight on the condition. but
Okay.
something that
Let's
maybe-
loosen it up.
Yeah, probably needs to be a little bit more allowable, there's some more allowance given to the hours of operation unless there's a specific nuisance that's been brought to your attention that would only, justify 4 hours of being open a week.
Yeah.
I went for 4 because that's what she asked for, but I'm open to, I like bread, so
I think the problem is, right, whatever we do here is a condition. If a neighbor doesn't like it, they'll point to the condition and say you're in violation of the condition. So the looser or more leeway we can give Felicia here, the more leeway she has to put an unmanned stand in her front yard and sell bread.
Just remove the day.
Can we just take out number 2
The
altogether?
time, yeah, I don't.
Because
I think
it's
reasonable to
unmanned.
have hours of
Sunset.
operation. I think that neighbors should have an expectation about when this place is going to be open. I think that's a reasonable condition. But, something so stringent that it's only 4 hours a week, I think is too stringent. But, if it's open, Saturday through Wednesday, 4 days a week or something like that, or 4 hours a day, every week, and, flexibility, they shouldn't have to be open.
What about no earlier than 8, no later than sunset?
I think that's, yeah, that's typically what we do, right? I think for a lot of these conditions.
Like, this is just, it's
business
crazy to me.
hours.
4
Yeah.
consecutive hours.
No, take that out. Like, if she wants to leave her stand, let's say she has an emergency and she has to leave her stand up past noon and the neighbor calls and complains. And she's got to go through this rigmarole because she got a complaint. So that would be my proposal is no earlier than 8, no later than sunset is what my suggestion is.
Shelby, did the time come from her request?
Yeah, I don't care, but she said the 4 hours.
Yeah, I know. I just,
So
police,
can we put 8 PM or 6 PM? Sunset is vague because in the wintertime it's 4 PM and in the
Okay.
summertime it's 10 PM.
yeah, we can, yeah, whatever feels better.
8 between the hours of 8 AM and
8 AM and 8 PM.
Yeah, and that follows the nuisance codes.
There we go. That sounds great. 8 to 8.
Saturday through Wednesday or?
No, Sunday through Saturday.
Felicia?
Hours of operation shall be limited to 8 AM to 8 PM.
That's what I would say.
just do that.
Just, and then it gives her the latitude to put out her stand and not have to worry about taking it down and getting in trouble.
Start with broad allowance and then narrow it down.
If there becomes a problem, yeah. Let's address a real problem if there is one, and that's how, sorry.
It's for her own good. She can limit the hours to keep the complaints, I guess, you know, leave it to them to work it out, but if you just do 8 to 8.
Sherry lost her whole profit margin paying for that permit, so let's let her leave her stand.
Well, but this also, for what Cameron's proposing, that takes care of her if I can't make a Saturday and I even want to do a Tuesday afternoon or a Wednesday. To that point, the ability to adjust is hers.
If she does it 10 hours a day, then she's at her own peril for another complaint, I suppose.
Okay, good conversation. I support that 100%. So, Felicia, do you have any other comments that you'd like the commission to consider?
I don't think so. I just appreciate all the comments and all the support. As many of you probably know, sourdough takes, 36 hours to make. So it's a lot of time to go into all of this.
See the sun. The sun.
Well, thank you for your patience. I think we will then entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the consideration of the proposed conditional use permit for Felicia and Joseph Mangrum to own and operate a farm stand for the sale of eggs, produce, and sourdough bread at 463 South Pasture Way, located in the R121 zone, with the conditions outlined in the staff report with the following modifications of the hours of operations being only limited to 8 AM to 8 PM, Monday through Sunday.
Fantastic. Thank you, Gary.
Well, second.
John, seconds. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. Okay, thank you, Felicia.
Thank you guys so much. I owe you all sourdough. How many do I bring down?
No.
You can't do that. Just got us in trouble.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. All righty.
That's right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have a good evening. Okay,
You
we'll
too.
close- Thank you. We will close item 2 and move on to agenda 3, which is the presentation and then a public hearing and then discussion and consideration for the recommendation of a proposed amendment to the Kenneth Pawson subdivision and the proposed commercial final plat application for Holiday Oil located at 794 East Main Street in the CG zone. And so we will begin with the staff presentation on this agenda item.
All right, sorry.
Hi, Shelby.
The PDF was being mean to me. So this final plat amendment is final and preliminary plat. Is the development of the Holiday Oil commercial site just adjacent to Maverick. It is on the southwest corner of Main Street and SR 112. It's in the CG zone, which is an allowed use. Let's zoom out so that we can review these plans. So Main Street here, Maverick is over in this corner. And then this is what the plat originally looked like. There was an existing home here. And then I believe there was an existing home here. And then you have like Canton City and a few other places here. We are amending the plat. Main Street here, Maverick here. They're dedicating the right of way for Main Street. They have an access in favor of Lot 2, so whatever comes into Lot 2 will have access off Main as well as SR 112. And this access easement is in favor of Lot 1 and 2. So we've beat this one up pretty good. And they've been working with UDOT as well, so we have the vehicle turn analysis coming in, showing that they can make the turns. Here's your fuel pump, fuel tanks holding the fuel. And then we have a large park strip with the curb and gutter. And then we have a car wash here showing the turn radiuses. And then they have like a little drive-through food pull and deal. It's gonna look beautiful. It's gonna have trees and flowers and shrubs, and it's gonna look really nice. They're gonna have a 6-foot tall vinyl fence along their west side and the south side of their property. And then this north and east side will remain open.
Those tanks are underground. And
Yes,
then you talked about with the turn radius, so that the entrances and exits are in compliance with UDOT standards according to 112 and 138.
yep.
Is this using both of those lots or just the one?
Just the one.
Just the one, okay.
Yeah,
It
so
just seems big. I just didn't realize it was that big.
it's because they have to set it back so far because of the right of way. Because eventually 112 and 138 will be 117-foot right of way. So they've set their building back further to accommodate the widening of 112. So
John?
The only question is, how come there's not a vinyl fence factory in Grantsville?
There's your next project, I guess.
I don't have any.
Okay, Gary, do you have any questions for Shelby?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, Shelby, we'll then open this up to public comment then. Thank you for that staff presentation. We will invite anybody who would like to take advantage of the public hearing to approach the podium and make comment. As you do, please state your name. Okay. Not seeing anybody approach the podium on site. If there's anybody online that would like to make a public comment regarding the recommendation of a proposed amendment to the Kenneth Pawson subdivision and the proposed commercial final plat application for Holiday Oil located at 794 East Main Street, please raise your hand online so you will be allowed to talk. Nobody? Thank you, Nicole. Okay, receiving no public comment during the public hearing, we will close that and bring this back to the commission for further discussion and consideration. Are the applicants here? Or would you want to approach the podium and state your name so you could answer any questions the commissioners may have?
Yeah, my name is Brent Neal and I'm with Holiday Oil. So we've been working through the city for a couple of years now before Shelby got here with the rezone a couple of years back. So we're excited to kick this off and keep it going till the end. So here to answer any questions you might have.
Okay, thank you, Brent. Jason, you have any questions for Brent?
Not right now, no.
Okay, Gary?
No.
Okay, Cameron?
How long does it take you to build this? Once you put a shovel on the ground, what's the time frame?
5 to 6 months. Yeah, construction 4 months, and then it takes us about a month and a half to get everything set up. So yeah, 5 to 6 months. So we're trying to open up by the end of the year is what we're pushing. So
That'll be great.
Okay, no questions, John? I was really hoping there would be semi-parking here, because we always, even today, we had a semi on the side of the road coming into town, and that just causes problems. Not getting it though, huh?
Yeah, and I mean, we talked with the city and UDOT asked us to improve the shoulder because right now they currently just park right there on the east side of that shoulder and UDOT doesn't love that. So with us and our setbacks, as Shelby mentioned, that will take that away, fortunately.
Yeah, we don't want semis pulling.
It's better than them being on the side of the road, so I'm excited that that road will be widened at some point, maybe, so it's a little bit safer.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have any questions or concerns either, Brent. When, if this gets approved, when do you think you would start construction?
So we still have to go through with the staff and planning. So we got comments back today from DRC, so we'll address those as fast as we can, get those resubmitted to keep continuing on with the review process. And if it was our ideal situation, July is what we're pushing for, so we can open by the end of the year.
Okay.
And we have to do UDOT improvements, so by October 15th, we have to get those set in before their moratorium kicks in.
Great.
So.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
I don't think we have any other questions for you, Brent.
Okay,
Thank you for your time.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Okay, then if we don't have any other discussion points, we'll entertain a motion.
I have one question, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, please.
So just because I didn't see this, so this, it's an amendment to the Kenneth Fosson subdivision. So what is that?
So the Kenneth Fosson subdivision, and let me pull it up here, it affects quite a few lots. It was the Fossons who wanted to subdivide. So here is what we're looking at where it says Wagstaff, so 1, 2, 3, 4, these 5 lots here. And so then, oops. You have the Kenneth Fosson subdivision here, you have it here, here, here. Sorry, just these ones. But it was just a subdivision of land and then Holiday Oil or Wagstaff purchased it, rezoned it, and now they have to do a plat amendment because they're amending that plat and they're adjusting the lots.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, that was a good question. Thank you, Cameron.
Can I make a motion?
Please.
I move to recommend approval to city council for the proposed amendment to the Kenneth Fosson subdivision and the proposed commercial final plat application for Holiday Oil located at 794 East Main Street in the CG zone with the conditions outlined in the staff report.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Thank you, Cameron and Gary. We will close agenda item 3. Move on to agenda item 4. This is a presentation and a public hearing and the discussion and consideration of a proposed preliminary plat application for Presidents Park Townhomes located approximately at 9 Green Street and Washington Avenue. So we will open with the staff overview. Here we are. Hi, Shelby. This is going much faster than I thought it was going to tonight.
It is what
I'm very optimistic.
see, I'm gonna win, Gary.
I'm gonna win. I thought it would be fun too.
So this was approved back, so I'm just gonna give you a little back history. So the entire project was approved back in like 2021, 2022-ish. With townhomes, the school, and then single family homes, multiple phases of single family. In 2025, Travis, the developer, came and amended the MDA and the townhomes layout to allow up to 71 townhome units. I believe he was asking for 17 additional units. This was approved by council in 2025. Sorry, I'm trying not to die up here.
Was this the one that the commission denied and then it went to council and council approved? Okay.
Correct. So they gave us the larger lots along Washington Avenue and on the southern portion. And then we have the smaller townhomes. It meets what was approved at Planning Commission. And staff doesn't have any issues with it. So it's pretty straightforward. We're just going through the preliminary approval process.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Shelby?
Shelby, from the original when this was SE Builders and now to J Thomas, you said they're looking for how many more townhomes in this section? 'Cause I know this was previously already approved
It was 15 more.
under the SC.
We originally asked for, it was 43 approved, we asked for 86. And then it was pared back.
Okay.
Thank you,
Just
Travis.
slightly. So the frontage on these homes were reduced to accommodate the increase.
So are these lots that are bigger, they gonna be more cottage style houses or are they still townhomes?
You're gonna see cottage style here. And then
Kind of as a
your
buffer towards
townhome.
a half acre
Yep.
lots? Okay.
So what we're being asked to today is, it was already approved for the, we're approving this design based on what was already previously approved about the number of homes that were allowed in the area.
Correct, and the same layout. So the conceptual layout was approved at Planning Commission or at City Council in 2025. Now we're here with the preliminary plat, asking for Planning Commission's approval.
Anybody have any other questions for Shelby? Okay, and we have a public hearing with this one too?
Yep.
All right, thank you, Shelby. We will open this up for the public hearing period. If anybody would like to make public comment, please approach the podium, state your name. I don't see anybody in the room that would like to have their comments recorded on agenda item 4, so we'll ask anybody online. Raise their hands. Nicole is saying no, nobody is online. It's not having anybody want to make public comment on agenda item 4. We'll bring this back to the commission for further discussion and consideration. Does anybody have any questions about these? Do you want to know what the frontage is on each of these units?
I just have a question. So just how we got here. So this, I assume this property was originally zoned as something else?
It is a PUD overlay, so it is zoned R121, and then they came in with a PUD overlay and got that approved.
Okay.
Back in 2021-ish, 2022, right there. And then as it swapped hands, it's continuing to develop out, and now we're here with the townhomes portion.
So is the standard procedure like, once they get that PUD overlay, the land becomes more valuable and that's why it changes hands? Or is it that a developer decided not to do something? Or what happens as far as value when that happens? Come to the podium.
Stand up there.
I'm just curious on how this works and how people make money doing this.
Please state your name.
My name's Travis Taylor.
Thank you, Travis.
So this is part of, like Shelby said, the overall Presidents Park development that was approved as an overall PUD. Everybody's financial situation is a little different. There was a partnership that took this down from Joe Cange, who owned a lot of property around here, 10, 15, 20 years ago. And I don't know what all the issues were, but they approached us a couple of times and asked if we were wanting to partner with them or buy them out. And so, over time, we just worked the deal and kind of took their place.
Does it make it more valuable after someone's done the work for that to happen, or does it not change that much?
For the PUD?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's basically, it's a rezone to a specific set of conditions.
Yeah.
So it would be akin to a rezone. You want to do a rezone to get the land available to do what you want, and typically that is hopefully it's an increase in value.
Yeah.
It can be a grueling process.
Well, that's what I was wondering, if someone's going through the work, then what's the upside if they're getting rid of it at some point?
Yeah. You'd like to think that, 50 years ago, when they were zoning everything and coming, they could see the future and predict everything, but you just can't. So.
Okay. That's all I had. I was just curious.
No, that's good. Good conversation.
Oh,
You may want to just stay up here. I just want to make sure that everybody gets their questions
I don't.
answered, Travis.
Travis, what's your timing on this? Or what do you, assuming approval from city council would be your timing to?
I guess there's still some city process to go through in getting the final plat. We'd like to get started as soon as possible. We have a parade home just south of here. It would be that road that's on the left runs into it almost, just a little ways south, and that's part of a group of parade homes. So, ideally, we're not going to be able to make that on this, obviously, but we'd like to have something to, as much variety of product to talk about when they come. So we'd like to get started on this, as soon as possible.
Is market analysis showing that with the density that you're asking, with the increased density, I mean, is there a desire for this? Or are you projecting pretty good sales? So in what your takedown going to be?
Well, so the issue we had with the original was it was a really wide townhome that you have a hard time making anything work in that footprint.
They were senior?
They
Originally?
had started out as a senior, and so they were 40 feet wide or so. And it was just a difficult product. I think they were having a hard time figuring out how they were gonna make that work, the folks that we bought this from, just that particular product. We certainly didn't believe in it. It was a stumbling block. It was a real stumbling block for us in buying the whole project, knowing that we had to, it's almost like, we're gonna take a loss on this and we're gonna have to make it up somewhere else. So these are more just traditional style townhomes. The patio homes are traditional style patio homes. I guess you guys missed out on the renderings, but I mean, the renderings look fantastic. It really is gonna be a nice little place.
Slab on grade, basement, 2-story townhome, I'm assuming?
The townhomes will be slab on grade.
Okay.
And the homes, we're gonna give them an option, it could be that somebody wants just single level living or a 2-story. We've got some flexibility in there.
And what is the frontage on the townhomes?
Those, I believe we ended up with 22. And then the front load, which are on the right-hand side of that drawing, they're either 25 or 26.
That's right. These were our first rear loaded.
Oh, remember talking about that?
Yes. We had a hard time because we couldn't decide what was the front yard and what was the rear yard.
It's funny, people have their own preferences. The trade-off between the front load and the rear load is the front load with the front door and garage door. You do have some private space in the back, and they can be fenced in, and we have these shown as fenced in. The other ones, which are around that middle area there, the rear loads, they have a kind of a neat community feel where your front doors facing front doors and there's a lot of interaction. So there's a little variety there. I guess we'll see what's more in demand in Grantsville. So.
Shelby, do you know if these are still our only rear loaded?
No, no, we have other rear loaded townhomes that have been approved.
Do we?
Yes,
But
we have
not
a
yet
Brentwood
built.
subdivision that's rear loaded, and there are definitely other rear loaded townhomes.
Okay.
It's probably not the best name for them. We should come up with something better. But
Front load, alley load.
alley load, yeah.
Hey, do you have any other questions?
I do not.
No, just curious ballpark price point on these. I'm just curious from your kind of thinking.
I don't know.
That's okay. if you don't.
Yeah, I don't know. we're, it's a little bit of a roll of the dice here.
Were you trying to make some of them moderate income, affordable housing type of?
We had talked about that in the beginning, there was a lot of conversation here.
There was a lot of conversation. You've been here a few times.
Yeah.
Would that
That's
change your
no,
mind at all?
I would like to hear good news of lower cost units, but that's not part of our review here. So.
Okay, I think we're good, Travis.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any further discussion? Are you sure you have no other questions for Travis? Okay, so we'll entertain a motion.
I move to recommend for city approval for city council for the consideration of the proposed preliminary plat application for Presidents Park Townhomes located approximately at 9 Green Street and Washington Avenue with the conditions we have outlined in the report.
Okay.
I'll
Thank you,
second.
Jason. Thank you, Gary. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Can I make one more comment off the record?
I don't know.
Okay, on the record, I just have to say that this is night and day different from my experience with the planning commission when I went through. I really appreciate the whole discussion tonight. Supportive of the residents, the gunsmithing, the discussion about broadening the hours on the farm stand thing, and I'm really surprised that Wagstaff didn't beat Maverick. They usually beat Maverick everywhere, but you know, it doesn't surprise me to see that they're here. But this was a great discussion.
No,
What's that?
it's
all
not.
Uh,
We have a great group and you're already approved through the city council. I don't know what we could have done but approve you, honestly. But you
We
had a lot of
we
patience
complied
with the city.
council
Yep,
with, you know, this is 100% in compliance. So
that's all we
there was
asked.
really no flexibility for us without coming back. But I just wanted to say, it was great to hear this discussion tonight.
Well, thanks
Thank
for
you.
investing in our
Thank you.
community. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
Have a good night, Travis. Okay, we will close item 4 and move on to item 5. Sorry, Brett.
Oh,
I feel like I should have asked for any input on that one since the council had already approved it.
But we didn't approve this part of it, right?
Yeah.
This is their,
Yeah, you'll see this.
We're
next time, I
recommending,
guess.
preliminary plat.
recommending that you do.
There you go. Agenda item 5 is the approval of the minutes from the March 2024, or sorry, March 24th, 2026 Planning Commission training meeting. There is any questions or concerns? Great job. With that, it's not the right one, is it? I read through them because it was our very long discussion on, but there was 2 of them.
there's actually
So that's
3
right.
listed on our paper
There's
here.
2. So April 21st, 2026, and then May 5th, 2026. It's at the last page.
It's just the title says March 24th. That's why it was
Oh.
confusing.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
So-
copy and paste and some of those
I do that too.
but it's on the agenda correctly.
I
and
should
it's
double
been
check.
noticed correctly, so.
I have to do that all the time with my own work. I am sorry. Let me restate this again. I am sorry. Agenda item 5 is the approval of the minutes from the April 21st, 2026 regular planning commission meeting. So for that one, does anybody have any comments or questions? We'll entertain a motion then.
Are you approving both of them or just the one?
Just this one, and then we'll do the next one.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from April 21st, 2026 meeting.
Jason, thank
Second.
you. John, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. And then we will consider the approval of minutes from the May 5th, 2026 Planning Commission regular meeting. If anybody would like to have a discussion on those items, is there anything that you found
That look
it's
good.
addressing? Okay, we'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the minutes from the May 5th, Cinco de Mayo, May 5th, 2026 Planning Commission regular meeting.
Thank you,
I'll second.
Cameron and Gary. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, we will close item 5 and move on to item 6, the report from city staff.
So I like Mountain Dew and root beer, Gary.
Hey, you're still on your time. You still got a long time to go.
I wanted to give you guys an update. So we finally, or UDOT finally issued the approval of the signal at Sheep Lane.
Oh, wow.
So Cache Valley should start working on that here shortly.
Oh my heavens. So there'll be one at Sheep Lane, then at Parachute Lane? Parachute, yeah, 'cause it's
Yeah.
almost, oh my heavens.
Yep. So,
Okay. I didn't know Sheep Lane-
Congratulations.
Okay.
Talk about traffic. Wait till that, both sides go in.
Oh, I'm waiting for the trains to start rolling. That's what I'm waiting for.
Oh, yeah, and then the train track.
Yep, train tracks are coming in.
When does the berm start getting fixed?
I'm sorry, say that again, Shelley.
Well, the train tracks are getting put in and soon we'll see them going, so it'll be exciting. We approved a plat at Lakeview Business Park that was just signed recently. It's off of Snowway. So Sheep Lane and Snowway, and it's just kind of in the back. It was 2 larger lots. So that's exciting. We're getting close with McDonald's and the
Yay.
location, so,
Well, that's big time.
yeah.
Is it
Nope,
over
that's
there
on map.
by Solberg's? Is it in that?
I cannot confirm nor deny where it's at.
Sorry about that.
The golden arches are coming.
They are coming.
It'll be a 121 lot with 100-foot.
Sourdough.
Yeah,
in front, color.
enough parking in front.
So excited. Do you guys have anything for staff to take back?
What's completion timeframe for Scenic Slopes Park?
Oh,
That's a good question.
Yeah, it's great.
It looks great, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The backstop and the
It's,
pump track. I was on there, probably shouldn't say this with Tyson here, but there was a whole group of kids on top of that pump track, just looking down like, let's go. And I pull up
they put
to my
up some,
truck and I'm looking at them. And
Did you
they're,
egg them on? Like,
no,
go
I
for
didn't
it.
egg them on.
well, at least they're not
Service.
crawling through the sewers anymore.
Yeah.
Sure, we're doing that.
But it's gonna be phenomenal.
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful.
Are you doing any work on that, Brett?
No.
No.
It's gonna be,
Open bidding.
it's gonna be an attraction, I think, for people besides just the local.
It'll be a great area to walk.
I walk at each noon till they put the trespassing signs for a while, and I stop and I'll put it back.
It's gonna be really nice. It'll be a nice ball field, nice area for the kids to play.
Yeah, it's great.
We still have other phases of that whole, because it's so large, right?
Mhm.
Can't remember, is it 30 acres there? I'll say there's 30.
At least.
yeah.
Richfield had like 6 phases when they did their pump track and skate park and all of
Yeah,
that.
this is really cool.
Anyways, it'll be great.
Sorry, I'm not the project manager on that one, so if Barry was here, he could give us
I
an
guess they're
answer.
50% probably,
Yeah.
but it looks pretty good.
Second text them.
Shelby, I do have one thing to go back, and I guess it was from our previous discussion on these conditional use permits on the situation that we read in today. I'd like to maybe have you guys noodle over something, or we can look at if someone is compliant with the statute, and just because they have to come here because there's a comment, to look at what that, how we mitigate that, because I think it is crazy for someone to say they have a comment and then someone has to pay $200 to go get heard because they were compliant otherwise until that comment came in, and maybe we look at some kind of waiver if it's within compliance. If they have to go and ask for something that's not within the statute and that does require a variance or a conditional use permit because of that, I think that's different. But in this case, we had an individual that was doing what they did or could do within the city ordinance and then had to come here anyway. And I think it's a lot to ask someone to spend $200 just to
Yeah.
come answer a question on something like that.
That used to be 600 tacos on Tuesday.
Who
So
has
it's
the
a lot of
authority-
money.
Who has the authority to waive the?
Well,
Does anyone?
The waive the
I think we'd
fee.
have to put that into we'd have to
In
look
the
at.
city ordinances,
city
fees
ordinance.
cannot be waived.
Jason, I think you had was it you that said, is it only a bad comment or is it a good comment
Well, I
too?
wondered if
Because
it.
we
the
could
way
put
it-
some markers on
That's what it
that
says
that
in
would.
752, application fees are not refundable.
Refundable, but they.
But is there a way we could do that to where if they are compliant with the city code, but because it gets triggered by this, that they would not be required to pay a fee? I'm asking.
Conceivably, yes, and then we could change the code and have that allowance in there. There is the city manager does have discretion to waive fees within reason. So there's situations that could be brought up on a case by case basis that could make the case where that would be justifiable.
Is he on right now?
These do take staff time, pulls them away from other projects and projects that are likely paying development fees that is for to compensate for the time the staff spends. And so anytime we waive a fee like that, it does have the potential of eating into our direct costs.
So Tyson,
So
I just have
If
a
we-
little bit of heartburn when someone wants a fruit stand or a food stand and they're trying to do something like this for $200, but that's just me.
Not to mention their time, they should charge, yeah.
Seems
go
a little
charge my
arbitrary
neighbor.
that it's just one fee and then not charge again, because at least we offset it once for $200, but still doesn't resolve that concern. People can keep coming back.
So initially what staff had proposed is that if there were less than 2 public comment, as long as they were meeting the ordinance and the requirements, then it could still be processed at staff level instead of coming to planning commission.
Oh.
can,
So that'd be changed to the code that you need to recommend. I think this body would be open to recommending that.
Cause your time costs money here too, right? So we bring that in here, we talk about it for 25 minutes. Is that more expensive for 5, 6 people on staff than it is for her just to stamp at her office?
Yeah.
Right, if we're talking about the cost, that's way cheaper.
That sounds like a good approach to me.
so Tyson,
Hmm?
what qualifiers on a situation like that would you suggest? Because I'm thinking if it's determined a public nuisance, then we would go through this process. But otherwise, if it's just a complaint,
Comment.
Or the two complaints that could be handled by staff. Give
Can
staff
we-
more latitude, I would suggest.
All nuisances start with a complaint, so we don't really know until we get to the end of the road on that, where we're at with, if there is an actual nuisance. I will say that when we do staff approval, if it's something that's received negative feedback from the community, then there's a heightened risk of a staff approval, being challenged. Whereas if it goes before a board, then that's, more of a unified voice of the community that is making that determination, so that's a singular staff member. But we could look at ways to try and mitigate this type of thing from coming up and being an issue. We could look at some internal rules that would only flag ones that are the most risky for the city to come before the board. Perhaps our code enforcement officer could go out and take a look and investigate a complaint before it gets brought here to see if there's any merit behind it.
Yeah, that's the problem. There's nothing wrong with it, right? So it, even if it just went to staff, they're sending something back to the complainant saying, here's your complaint, here's the city code, here's why they're compliant. Right, and then I guess they still could challenge that, but
Risk
That'd
would
just be
happen in
silly.
that if they challenge it.
yeah.
but then it
I don't
won't
know.
be arbitrary. It won't be somebody just saying, oh,
It would
it's a lot
prevent-
of traffic,
It would prevent
but
people from.
how much is a lot of traffic? I mean,
That's a law.
can you, would you be able to find quickly the definition of what's a nuisance for the city? Not to spend a lot of time on this, but I just wonder,
That's a big section code.
Is it? It's not
Nuisance
just
code
like-
is- Yeah, we've got several sections within a chapter that.
what could
Get into the nuisances.
Could we take that and just make a checklist and say, okay, if you're making a complaint that you want the city to investigate as a nuisance, identify this. And then if the code enforcement officer goes out and finds evidence or no evidence, then it would further escalate it. But if there's no evidence, then there's a potential to save people time and money and the city time and money. If the people making the complaint is owning what they're complaining about and there's real reason for a nuisance complaint. And then it should certainly come through the process, but if we could just nip it in the bud and take this and make a checklist, like he's complaining about a lot of traffic, but what is a lot of traffic? Is it a lot of traffic between 2 AM and 6 AM? Is it a lot of traffic that is creating excessive noise? Is it 20 cars? Is it 10 cars? Is it 2 cars? It's like barking dogs. What is a nuisance with a barking dog? Dogs bark all hours of the night. They should be pulled inside during the evening hours, so it's not affecting other people's rest hours, but some people sleep during the day.
Didn't you say we get a lot of these?
No,
Oh, I thought you.
no, we
said
don't.
That we got a lot.
Well, no, what I meant was we get a lot of farm stands and things where people are just selling, I mean, like yard sales, they pop up every Friday, Saturday and Sunday. We don't really filter complaints about yard sales through the planning commission, and it just, to me, this is like a yard sale. Except unmanned.
I guess maybe we'd just say that we're open to suggestion.
So,
Which will be
okay, there's
supportive.
22. And so if somebody's going to make a complaint, we just have them check what this is. And then we can create some qualifiers that is like in a rural, in a neighborhood of whatever zoning, the zoning from R7 to R21, if they're booking more than 15 cars a day, then that maybe that is a nuisance, but I don't know. I don't know how we would get that back on a agenda to talk about and consider how that happens.
World of traffic enforcement, right? So you've got, a citizen can, issue a citation essentially, right? By filing a complaint, if they see somebody speeding in their neighborhood, they can call the police and say, this is the person I saw speeding, this is the make, model, license plate, and the description of the driver. And police can investigate that and find the driver. If they found the driver, they can issue a citation, even though they didn't see anything, but that person would have to sign the citation and say that they would show up to court if subpoenaed.
Okay.
So they're serving as the officers.
Might
Yeah.
not.
How do you know? how
Just get out of my street corner more often.
But isn't that
Stop
quite
it.
arbitrary? You're speeding? How do you back that up with any evidence?
Right?
You would have to be able to, right? And so that's the reason why they would be required to join. Usually it's not a speeding offense. Typically it would be more like a reckless driving offense. It's like I heard the engine
I'm sure he's just
roar,
using that as an
feeling on
example.
rocks,
Stop it.
driving on the median, and, things like that. But they would have to be willing to show up in court and testify as to what they saw. So if it's a situation where it appears as though there's no evidence or sort of subjective evidence about whether there's been a violation of the code, perhaps it could also speak to their side of things. If they're the complainant, there's one side of it to say, well, you can't make an anonymous complaint and then just have everyone else clean up the mess to
Right.
prove that you're innocent at that point.
The complaint should have merit behind it, right?
Can people make an anonymous complaint that would constitute action here?
That, what we saw.
Was that anonymous today?
No.
The dogs were, the last one though was anonymous. One of them was.
I remember that.
So we can look into creating some rules, see what some other jurisdictions have done to try and hold the reporting party as accountable as the person who would have to show up, risk losing their conditional use permit, risk the damage to the business, as opposed to submitting an email and then never having an answer for it.
Yeah, because that would be just obnoxious.
I didn't mean to take us all down a rabbit hole. My big thing was even if we had to come and bring
Sure,
it to
Jason.
approval, I'd say, don't charge them the application fee to say you are in compliance, but because there's a comment, you still need to come here and have it addressed. That still meets the requirement that we still address what's there, but it doesn't penalize the person for being compliant with what the code was. If they're asking for variance from that code, that's different. That's what I was trying to say.
They only have to pay the fee if they lose, so is that? I mean, I'm serious.
Expand on that,
I'm
Jason.
serious.
Yeah, but I see
not
what
that
Tyson
lose,
was
I'm
saying
saying-
earlier. Tyson, I mean, there's still staff time that goes into that. I would be more like, if someone's going to file a nuisance / complaint, that much like us, it's gotta be backed up by code. What are you citing to cite the nuisance? What code are you citing that they're not complying with? Then we bring this to them, to this planning and zoning commission, to whomever. If you can't cite code,
Right.
cite
or
law,
Show
then
evidence.
you've got, then it's just opinion.
Yeah.
And then we have nothing.
So maybe we do this checklist and give it to the person who's making the complaint, say, give us proof before we spend staff time.
Well, it sounds like staff's gonna tighten up the rules maybe as city and.
And there's more to it than just this list, right? So
Yeah.
this is in the muni code, we'd be looking at land use code, zoning violations, if they're, if it's not meeting the parking, right, conditions that are imposed on their business, if there's something in their conditional use permit that they seem to have been violating, they're open all hours of the night, or something like that, they have to be able to at least come and testify to what they've seen to indicate that this is, something that's been open all night long, outside of their business hours, or more traffic than what is allowed, that type of thing.
Well, I was gonna make a complaint once in the city that I lived in. I went to the code to make sure if I did, you know, that it was, had any teeth in it, you know.
Did you get anywhere?
Well, I didn't do it. And they ended up, the property owner ended up kicking the people out, but anyway.
Shelby's property.
So we can go and do our own investigation with the code enforcement if we get some complaint, but the expectation will be, you're willing to show up and tell the planning commission or city council, whichever board is hearing this, what you've seen and observed to indicate that there's been a violation. That would probably wipe out many of these complaints.
Yeah,
If the
keyboard
person knew
cowboys.
that they would have to come in and be present. Extensions.
Okay, so can we revisit that at some point? I mean, I think the commission members might be willing to take
Shelby got you sick.
that all the way from over there. I think that's further than the 6-foot designated safe area, but
That's
you're welcome.
it's her arena dust. She's got the black lung for playing in the arena.
Some of that paint was pretty
I just think we
pretty
can put more of
chippy.
the burden of proof on the person.
Yes, and
Right,
that's why I
it's
think
too
we give
easy.
them a checklist and say, tell us how you are justifying your complaint. You know, and then we can spend city staff time on it, but I don't know what that looks like, but you guys can look at the nuisance descriptions and come up with some qualifiers and send them to Shelby. So we can say, well, if it's really dogs barking, then what does that mean? This is what, you know, further. You can't just complain about a dog barking. It has to be, you know, during nighttime hours and more than one dog and constant, I don't know how to qualify it, but to me, that just would make more sense. It would save us all time.
That would almost, it would take some time to build up, but it'd almost be like a complaint form where you had drop
Right.
downs to say what is your complaint is there and what's the justification, actually go down and actually force them to say it's this code, this thing, and actually select it, and then I'd actually be able to point to it, because if they can't, like to your point what you said, if you're going to look at and say, I don't like this, well, that's an opinion, that's not a reason to say it's not
Like-
information. But anyways, we're getting way off into the tangent,
I
but
want to hear from Rhett.
Rhett. Oh, so you want to close that agenda item and move on to we did the open forum for planning commissioners. We'll do a report from city council, agenda item 8. Is that what you mean, Cameron?
Well, that's what I was nudging. at.
Thank you.
In nice words.
We
Let's
met
go.
last night. And I'll just say the reason why we met last night was because graduation's tomorrow. We have 2 members of the council that have children that are graduating tomorrow afternoon. And we had one city council member who was going on vacation last night at 9:30. He left our council meeting early, so we wouldn't have had a quorum. It would have just been me and Jeff, no mayor and no 2 other council members, so we wouldn't have been able to have the meeting, and we needed to have it mostly because of just the truth and taxation requirements and discussing the budget and once again trimming that down and making that all work and giving our staff essentially ask them direction on where we want to go with that. So we had some good
good discussion and, you know, came to an agreement.
Bless you.
And here we're moving forward, and we'll discuss it again the next time we come in, and hopefully be able to approve an interim budget so we can function as a city and move forward, so.
I never heard them table.
Thank you
What's
for
that?
your,
I never heard them table mine.
Table yours.
Yeah. City staff, but you're good. I was gonna update you about the rodeo. You're good.
oh,
We'll
we
come back.
we
Sorry,
went
I
off
rushed
on a
it, I rushed
tangent.
it, sorry.
Yeah, kind of jumped her.
That's
So I
right.
will put a plug in for the rodeo. Everyone should attend. It's expected. Should be a great time.
It's gonna be a good time.
Shelby, thanks for your efforts with that.
Oh, thank you.
It'll be
Yes,
a great community event.
Yes.
it's
I'll
good
see y'all
leadership.
That according to the budget.
Not
pays
both
for
nights, we're not
itself.
expected to go both nights.
there. It is paid
Pays for
for itself
itself.
entirely. No funding from city.
And a lot
I
of
think that's probably,
donated hours, Shelby.
is that gonna be, I think that's good to share with people in the current environment that no city funds were used. I think that'd go a long way. However, that could be communicated.
Oh,
on
I've
a
said it
poster.
multiple ways and multiple different.
I didn't know that till now though, and I look at the city website, so I didn't know that. So I think that's,
It was self-funded in the mid some.
okay.
If we took it out, it actually made our budget look worse, like $10,000. So anyways,
I don't know, just, I think it's,
so it's a good thing.
yeah.
Well, thank you for your dedication and leadership, Brett. We appreciate it. It's
Yeah,
a thankless job.
we did have, you know, quite a list of things that we discussed yesterday. One thing you'll be interested in is the Wellstone general plan amendment that was really split, not split, but 3-2 here against. And then also, you know, just the changing of that from R121 to R112. And we ended up denying that. Both proposals unanimous. So anyways, it's not the right time. So, and I do think it will do us some good to revisit the general plan. And if the public feels like, yeah, maybe these half-acre lots are, you know, too hard for people to take care of, and I mean, we could argue back and forth for total movement base, right?
Yep.
As to, you know, what that is and the cost and everything associated with it, but, you know, as it stands right now, it's zoned that way, and we felt like it should continue to be something that way until
It's,
there's a change.
it is a challenge, and again, I mentioned I was looking at purchasing a home and I wanted a half-acre lot for the space, the view. I was going over on Williams Drive, I think, just riding there on my bike, and I saw 12 trucks in the backyard of a half-acre lot.
Yeah.
And I had a fence, and none of them were running, but it was like, it was a mini junkyard, and so it ranges, you know, from just people doing nothing to some nice ones to crap like that to.
And welcome to America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's freedom, and I'll be glad for it as well. I mean,
Yeah.
to each their own, right? And that is the American dream, is to own land, to own a home. And
But 12
so, I mean, people can do with it what they want. But
Within the code.
within the code, absolutely, oh, yeah, and that's why we're here, right?
Yeah.
Making
Is,
sure
is there a limit to how many trucks you can park on your?
Not in your backyard.
You
Some
start calling other things,
HOAs
they're
will
preferred
say.
houses,
There
they're.
might be something in
It
that
needs to
chapter
be
7
screened.
nuisances that we could probably
They gotta be registered,
draw on.
they've gotta be running registered.
Even in the
Yeah.
backyard?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Unless you're a farmer,
These aren't, these don't even have
That's interesting.
unless they're used for farm
windows and
purposes.
doors.
Yeah,
It's not my neighborhood, so I'm not gonna.
right? That's code enforcement. If people are gonna complain about it, they're gonna determine what they're complaining about. And then they have to show up to defend their complaint against the homeowner. I like that. Accountability. Okay,
Go back.
Brett? Anything else? Thank you.
No,
Bryson, thank you for your guidance tonight. Shelby? Want to revisit anything after I cut you off
No, you're
short? I
fine.
am sorry.
I was
Yeah.
focused on entering and stuff, so I was like, did I not finish? Yeah, as Rhett said, we just hope to see you all there for the rodeo. It starts at 7 PM Friday, the 22nd, and 7 PM Saturday, the 23rd. You guys can pick up tickets now until the rodeo or pick up tickets at the rodeo. You can purchase them online only, so they won't be, no cash or in-person purchasing. And we have an exciting, event on Friday, and we are just waiting on the answer if we get the flyover with a parachute jump with the flag drop on Saturday. We did fill all of the events for our first rodeo, which is huge. And then for those who are familiar with the rodeo, and know the Wright brothers that live in Beaver, we have Jesse Wright coming out Friday,
Oh, that's big.
which is huge.
That
So
is.
NFR winners,
NFR guys.
PRCA winners, things like that. So, for our first rodeo, we have done excellent.
Now, I heard another city advertise their rodeo on the radio. Maybe we could get a council member to call into the radio station and say something good about the city.
I did look at reaching out to
For some-
advertise on the radio, and it just wasn't in our budget.
Well, that's why we call up and just say something good about it, and it's free advertising.
No.
26 of
going
us
for
could
it.
call up the radio and
Yeah, so.
We had a developer that was sponsored rodeo and didn't know what rodeos really were, so I asked him if he competed in the barrel racing.
Oh, that's funny.
That was a,
I don't know
Dead
anything
ring.
about radios. or
Oh,
rodeos
women
either,
do the
but
barrel racing.
Yeah, I've learned that.
so I did learn that about in embarrassing.
But at least you could name an event in a rodeo. All I knew was the mutton bus.
Full rodeo, bear bronc,
Yep,
everything.
yep, everything, bulls, broncs, saddle bronc, bareback riding,
Team roping, all that.
team roping,
Isn't that
bulldogging,
little? Arena? We need a bigger arena.
yeah.
How many
People like
does,
that.
how many does arena seat?
The arena can seat, right around 1,800,
Oh, really?
people with the bleachers that we got 2 extra from the county.
Wow, that's.
Then we have the tailgate seating that we sold, so we'll have roughly 70 people in tailgate seating. And then, I mean, the facility itself is large enough to house more people, you know, so
That'll
we'll
be
have
that much.
140, we'll have 160 contestants there each night.
That is big. That is.
And great rodeo stock too.
Oh, yeah.
That
Yep.
is- Yeah, it's, what's the,
Broken Heart Rodeo Company with Ben Gurman, so it's a RMPRA, and then he has bulls that go to the PBR and PRCA and things like that, so this is huge. A lot of locals, yep.
and this is a kickoff.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
this
To
is-
the pro rodeo circuit.
What's the
Yeah.
Washington Johnson?
Really?
Oh, roping.
Yep,
One of the
That
first
is
events,
huge.
right?
yep, one of the very first, so.
Good job, Shelby. I
And we
didn't
got
know it
good
was
weather.
part of that
Do we
whole
have a
circuit.
rodeo
Riding
queen?
and-
Looking awesome. Do we have a rodeo queen?
Miss Grantsville, why would we not just?
Yeah, or I've had the mayor, talk with Miss Grantsvilles, as well as council in the grand entry to to enter the arena, the attorneys in the facilities, no. To safely enter the arena, in a vehicle,
That's amazing. So much planning and effort.
Look at him just side eyeing.
Oh.
they did.
Silent.
Yep.
What about vending and food vending and stuff like that?
Yeah, so we have 7 food trucks. We'll have a barbecue food truck, which is amazing food truck. Pizza, got the Taco Man, local.
Of course, good.
We got kiwi cones, still water, like they make like the lemonade and the
Oh,
watermelon.
yeah.
And then we got Cowgirl Coffee, and then Smash Burger and another burger place. I couldn't get a burger truck for both nights, the same one, so I got 2 different ones for each night. And then we have 10 vendor booths.
Are the food trucks gonna be outside of the ticketed area?
No,
So
they'll
general
be-
public will be able to
They'll be inside,
be
they'll be inside the facility, so when you buy a ticket, then you can go in and buy food.
Oh,
So, but they can't bring outside food or
Oh.
drink.
So is most of the
makes sense.
parking along Clark Street, is that where most?
There's gonna be a lot of parking along Clark Street, Main Street, Bowery, but the majority of the parking should be in the north parking lot. It's kind of right at the end of Bowery. There's a big parking lot that we've graded off.
You have to drive north of the grounds to get there.
Actually, I've got it pulled up right here.
All right.
So this whole parking lot here is for parking,
Oh.
so
okay.
just
Didn't
5
realize
acres.
that was
It's a
the
small town, just walk. Make it part of the experience.
But yeah, we anticipate, like, we're shutting Clark Street down from Race to Bowery. We
Nice.
anticipate it being a pretty large radius of people parking.
Okay. Very exciting. Very exciting. Any other questions for Shelby?
No.
No,
Hey,
thank you guys.
thank you, Shelby.
Sorry.
So excited.
So excited.
Ton of work. Can't even imagine how much work that was. But we appreciate it. Okay, well, we will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Jason and Gary.
I
Okay.
just picked up a Grantsville treasure. Story.
Have you got the Merrill Nelson book, Grantsville?
Thank you.
That's the one you need.